son was in the tank that came to Baghdad, or one of the tanks. It reminded me of this like a personal crisis that I think I was going through when I first came to the US. Because in my perspective, US troops were the enemy. There were people who invaded my country and destroyed it. And I didn't really see them as human. It was hard for me to actually relate to a US soldier or hang out with them. And then I remember like the first time I met a US soldier in Iraq, first I played off the moment. And I was not friendly. It wasn't like a hard time. Here I started spending more time with US veterans. In terms of, many of them are against the war. Started having like more of a human relationship. Then I remember this one moment. My organization has an exhibit called Eyes Wide Open. I think actually the exhibit is here in Richmond is the last standing exhibit in the US. Eyes Wide Open shows we have military groups trying to memorize US troops who died in Iraq and some civilian troops to symbolize Iraq civilian academy. And one time I was in Chicago and we put the exhibit there everywhere, and I'm standing there giving my speech. And I see a woman who was walking by the exhibit. And she notices it. And then from what I assume, she has a loved one who died in Iraq. So she started reading the names, looking for their loved one, the name tag. She was calling on her knees, weeping, just like eating the names. It reminded me of the same description of my dad back there. My brother went missing one day. He didn't come back from school. And he's 5 years younger than me. So he was a student at the University of Australia back then. One day doesn't show up. My dad searched for him, of course, to go to the middle of a war zone in Baghdad. Sometimes you can go and ask about things in a police station. My dad searches in hospitals, he calls friends, and then my dad describes this painful scene of him at the mall, going on his knees, between dead bodies, but all of them doing fine by function. All of them are around the same age, same age. He's trying to see my mother to one of those. It's my heart. It breaks my heart until now when I think about my dad. And that moment, just that thing, just scared me so much to see that. Made me realize how pain is actually universal. We have so many cultural differences and cultural systems, but when someone loses a loved one, it's the same thing. We all fall on our knees and fight. Sorry about that.
Much of the peace movement has to do with what's wrong and we shouldn't do. And that's all good. I don't want to give the impression of be against that. But you seem to have to get on the scene to understand the complexities on the ground. There's two related questions. One, do you think that the people in Washington, policymakers, their staff, really have an understanding of this complex situation. And two, from your perspective, would you suggest as many things as you can of positive nature that might be done? If you were king, two or three things that you would say, I am the king, I'm more powerful. This is what I'd like to see done.
Which country? The answer to your first question is no. It depends on who we are talking about. DC has so many different levels of policymakers and their staffers. Most of the people who we are in contact with, the NGO community and people who try to advocate for policy change, happen to be in the U.S. Congress. U.S. Congress historically doesn't have that many experts. They don't really have that much expertise on foreign policy, and most of the things end up being focused on DC soundbites rather than actual foreign. Now, the State Department and White House has a different caliber of staff and policymakers, and they seem to know more. My observation has been that even those are confused about the situation. I mean, a good example of the confusion is the U.S. policies in Iraq and Syria. The U.S. in Iraq supports the central Iraqi government. We fund them and send them weapons and training and take their side against what can be described majority Sunni uprising against the government. And in Syria, we're supporting what seems to be a majority Sunni uprising against the central government in Syria, which is backed by Shia and by Iran. The Syrian and Iraq central governments are very strong allies. People supporting Iraq and Syria in unity are the same ones. The U.S. is literally supporting opposite sides of the same conflict in Iraq and Syria. Now, when you look at it as a region of conflict, the U.S. seems to be supporting so many different sides of the same conflict. Back in the day, the U.S. had some, genius evils who wanted to play both sides and have dual containment, etc. These days, I just think that they don't have no idea what's going on. It's that simple. It's very, policy is seen as silos and departments. People who work in Syria don't necessarily talk to people who work in Iraq. And when I ask the question about contradictions of U.S. policy to top staff and policymakers in the White House and State Department, they seem to be confused. They're like, oh yeah, that sounds like a contradiction. Well, duh, yeah, it is a contradiction. But of course, keep in mind that many of the decision makers in these issues are not people who we know or meet. They're not visible. The intelligence community in Washington, D.C. that spends billions of dollars a year, we have no idea who they are or what they do or what they do. It's a complete, they operate in the dark. Many of them have been running these consistent policies in Iraq and the rest of the region for decades. These are not elected officials. They're not accountable to anyone in the public. We literally don't know their techniques, but they are involved in long-term policies in Iraq and Syria. Those ones in the intelligence seem to be more aware of what's going on in the crowd. I mean, like that's the complicated thing, even regarding Iran. Now, like, although our discussions about Iran seem to be, there are like two main groups, two main camps. People who hate Iran and the Easterners and Muslims and they want war and they're against their people. There are people who are more tolerant or they would like to have better international relations to unfold their people. Now, the situation with Iran is very, very extremely complex. Iran is behind half of these crimes. Iran is funding many of these conditions as well. The U.S. is collaborating with Iran, has been collaborating with Iran for the last decade on extremely evil programs and projects for the region. So that, there's these complexities are very hard to capture in like one staff member or one policy. And sometimes I doubt that there are any catch-all offices in the White House and the State Department to say, this is how complex the situation is. We don't. The same thing with Japan. It's Japan's relationship with the U.S. is different than Japan's local context and regional politics. Historically, the peace movement took Japan's side because we see it as the victim of U.S. oppression and nuclear weapons and stuff. But Japan in the region is not. It is seen as an aggressor as well. It has a long history of attrition there. These are the questions that we can't answer with sound bites. And it's very hard to understand that there is no good people and bad people out there. People have good and bad. They do both. I always say that the term good people and bad people is such like an abstractionist term. Actually, in Arabic, it doesn't translate. It translates to like, you're telling a story to a 5-year-old. But anything more than that, the word bad guy and good guy actually has no translation in Arabic or any other language. So like, it's a part of the problem in our psychology and like mentality and approaching these conflicts. It's trying to find a good guy and a bad guy. If I was king, I would step down.
Well, from what you've said, it's trillions of dollars and 13 years. And from that picture, it would seem that it is the aim of the U.S. and its allies to create chaos in the Middle East and keep chaos going, and that the aim is not peace. So, who do you think, why do you think that, do you first of all think that might be a goal, and then why?
I would speculate. Unfortunately, we don't have a state answer from our government here in the U.S. The U.S. government hasn't told us why we are in Iraq for the last 23 years. They gave us fake excuses, but they haven't really told us why. Why have we been there? There was a good report that came out, a report by CRS, the Congressional Research Service, back in December, about how much money we spent on militarism since 9/11. So it includes the wars that the U.S. has been engaged in since 9/11. That's another thing to keep in mind. Like when 9/11 happened and the AUMF, the authorization to use military force 2001 passed, the U.S. public were told that this is an authorization to use force in one country. In the last 13 years, that authorization to use military force was used in 13 countries. So the U.S. spent $1.6 trillion on war so far since 9/11. And this is not counting in the share on national interest. If you count that, it's over 2.5 trillion. Now, out of those, the amount that we spent on Iraq, like on war, 93% was spent on military, and 7% was spent on the Department of State, so the State Department, and on USA. Imagine the priorities in the engagement, 93% on the DoD, and 7% on non-military engagement. These are signs that there isn't really a political will to go there and have peace and build the wall.
Right.
If we wanted to do that, I think those numbers would be the other way around. So many people in DC and I think in the public have the impression that we go there with a good will, but we keep on making these mistakes. Oops, just killed another million. Whoops, just destroyed another country. Now, I'm not that generous. I don't think that there are good intentions behind the attacks to start with. It seems like a pretty successful plan to destroy Iraq. It's very comprehensive. It's been going very well for 23 years. When you look at it from the other side, if you look at it from a perspective that this was a series of mistakes committed over 23 years, you know, it seems like it's not going very well, and we're wasting a lot